When living on Cybertron, the Transformers lived under a strict caste system, and when Megatron stood up against this, he was called a terrorist by the establishment and a hero by the oppressed. Neither side is wrong, and neither side are villains. Greetings and welcome back to Checkpoint Gaming Transformers. When it comes to that, clarifications, although not corrections to the published text, it will help make things better to understand for the players. For this episode, we'll go over the clarifications for both the character and upgrade cards. With that said, we will start off with addressing the characters, then we will be moving on to address the battle cards. With Air Raid, Fearless Flyer, while in bot mode, he has flavor text that allows him to scrap an enemy upgrade after he damages them. If he has an upgrade that itself does damage to an enemy upgrade will not be scrapped unless the upgrade specifically says his ability will be triggered. With Alpha Bravo, Airborne Special Ops, while in alt mode, if a plane attacks him and gets KO'd due to his flavor text, no battle cards will be flipped and the attack will come to an end. With Alpha Tricon, Cybertronian Sage, while in alt mode, if the card you play has other battle icons on it beyond that of blue, they still count towards the battle. With RC, Skilled Fighter, when she flips to alt mode and none of your characters are damaged, nothing will happen since there is no damage counters to be removed. While she is in bot mode and her attack is boosted by an attack or an upgrade, it will raise her Pierce number as well due to the nature of her flavored text. This extends to any and all orange stack icons that are flipped during her attack step. When equipped with an upgrade that gives her additional Pierce, the Pierce value is increased, not the initial attack value. As long as she is in bot mode, any attack damage dealt goes through and gives damage counters to the target regardless of the defender's defense value due to her Pierce ability. With Autobot Cosmos, Recon and Communication, while in bot mode, if there are only 2 battle cards left in your deck, when you attack with this character, his ability will trigger. This is because after flipping your last 2 battle cards in your deck, you will need to reshuffle your scrap pile into your deck as soon as the deck becomes empty. As a result of this, the defender will be KO'd if it has 12 stars or less. Your opponent will not flip any of their battle cards. This also extends to any upgrade or action that causes you to draw the last card from your deck. With Autobot Hound, Long Range Scout, while in bot mode, his ability will not trigger the round reaches the attacking out phase. He is not the first character to go, and a white battle icon was played before it is his turn to attack. With Autobot Jazz, Special Ops, while in alt mode, if the battle meets the criteria for his flavor text, any extra damage gets discarded and only 2 points of damage are inflicted. But if the attack has an ability that will deal damage to Jazz, that damage will still get applied even if his flavor text is still in effect. With Autobot Mirage, Lone Wolf, while in bot mode, if he flips 3 white battle icons while attacking, then he will become untapped. Under ordinary circumstances, he will not be able to attack immediately and you will have to wait until your turn to attack again. But if you are in the attacking out phase, then Autobot Mirage can attack again. When it is in alt mode and you play an action because of his ability, he can play another action this turn. With Autobot Nautica, Camion Engineer, while in alt mode, he gets 1 additional defense value for each blue battle icon flipped. So 1 blue battle icon is equal to 2 defense points. When it is in bot mode, the armor comes from your hand. With Autobot Whirl, Aerial Assault, while in bot mode, and Private Vanguard, Ground Command, Advanced Guard, they wait until all other effects have been applied, then sees if the attack exceeds at a 5 attack damage for a ranged attack. If it is more than 5 attack damage and is from a ranged character, then only 5 points of damage is applied. With Beachcomber, Geologist, while in alt mode, if the card isn't the card you named, you will just put it back onto the top of your deck. With Blackwing, Aerial Attack, and Redmind, Air Defense, while both are in bot mode and both are in the KO area, they are not able to combine to Dreadwing, Sky Destroyer. At least one character will have to be on the battlefield for their abilities to work. With Blur, fastest bot in the galaxy, while in bot mode, his ability will allow you to choose which untapped enemy character you will be able to attack. However, you will be unable to play any cards before attacking an untapped character in the second attack. This is due to it occurring right after the first attack finishes. You also have to attack for the second time, but if there are no untapped enemy characters, this ability will not trigger. Blur will remain tapped after the first attack. With Bumblebee, Courageous Scout, while in alt mode, if you have no card in your hand when you use this ability, you will draw a card, look at it, you will immediately put it back on top of your deck. You are unable to do anything else with that card before you put it back on top of your deck. When it is in bot mode, you flip 1 white battle icon with the primary flip and then flip another white icon from the 2 bonus cards his ability will trigger. With Bumblebee, Legendary Warrior, when flipping to alt mode, you do not have to attack with him that turn. It just allows you to attack untapped enemies if you choose to do so with Bumblebee. And you attack a tapped or untapped enemy. It just depends upon who you wish to attack. And if you attack an untapped enemy, the target will remain untapped. None of the other combat rules are altered. With Captain Astrotrain, Space Force, Transport, regardless of his mode, he will retain his trigger ability until the end of the turn, even if he loses an upgrade. With Captain Alita 1 Special Op Ranger, when flipping to alt mode, the damage counters that are already found on the character can affect how many damage counters can be moved onto her. And when moving damage counters from one character to another, it does not count as repairing the first character or damaging the second. Any abilities that care about damage being done or repaired will not be affected by the moving of damage counters. When it is in bot mode, if you do not want to play a card from your scrap pile, the card will stay in the scrap pile. And if Alita 1 is your last character to be KO'd, you cannot use her ability before losing the game. When she is moved to the KO area, you lose the game before you can use her ability. With Captain Ironhide, Infantry, Bodyguard, while in alt mode, you can take non-attack damage from cards. This includes things such as Photon Bomb, for even though it is not occurring during the battle itself, certain cards can be seen as attack cards. In regards to your opponent's cards, they include their opponent's characters and battle cards. Your opponent is able to play a card that moves damage counters from one character onto Captain Ironhide. Moving damage counters is not the same thing as doing damage. When it is in bot mode, you cannot swap a weapon onto Captain Ironhide from your hand when it says put on other, because the put on other restrictions still apply. With Captain Jetfire, Engineering, Air Guardian, and flipping to alt mode and there is less than 5 cards found in your deck, reveal what cards you can, leave them aside, reshuffle your scrap pile, and then reveal the remaining balance until you have revealed 5 cards. With Captain Omega Supreme, Transport, City Defense, since his base does not have the ability to combine, you're not allowed to combine the base, the spacecraft, or the tank if both are found in the KO area. In this situation, the base is on its own unless there is a way for you to bring back the spacecraft or tank back into the play. When it comes to combining and the conditions are met for both the spaceship and tank for it to combine, then ignore the redundant ability for Captain Omega Supreme can only combine once. With Captain Wheeljack, Engineering, Scientist, while in alt mode, use his ability before the game begins. After placing Brainstorm into your hand, shuffle the rest of the deck and draw 3 cards at the start of the game like normal. You will still draw a card at the start of your first turn. When it is in bot mode, you can only trigger your ability once per turn. With Chop Chop, Sneaky Insecticon, while in alt mode, you can scrap multiple upgrades and repair different Insecticons or repair just one. When it is in bot mode, you can move another weapon onto him if he already has one, but you will have to scrap the original weapon in order to do so. If you move an upgrade onto Chop Chop while the ability that triggers when the upgraded character attacks, said ability will not trigger since it wasn't on Chop Chop when he attacked. But upgrades that allow for the flipping of additional battle cards to trigger since his ability happens before the flipping of a battle card. You cannot move an upgrade onto Chop Chop if it says put on only, because the put on only restrictions still apply. With Chromia Special Ops, while in bot mode, you flip one white battle icon with the primary flip, and then flip another white icon from the 2 bonus cards his ability will trigger. With Cliffjumper, Renegade Warrior, while in bot mode, characters that are KO'd and not in car mode when KO'd will not add to Cliffjumper's bonus. With characters found in the KO area and are flipped to their car mode, they will not activate Cliffjumper's alternate mode ability unless an ability states otherwise. With Crankcase, Data Collector, while in bot mode, his ability triggers if you have 5 cards in your hand at the beginning of his attack, even if the number of cards found in your hand changes over the course of the fight. With Decepticon Venom, Insecticon Tyrant, while in alt mode, is KO'd and your opponent has 1 card in their hand, your opponent will scrap that 1 card. But if your opponent has an empty hand, then nothing will happen. If Venom and another of your Insecticons are KO'd at the same time, then Venom's ability will trigger twice and your opponent will scrap 4 cards from their hand. With Demolisher, Devoted Decepticon, while in bot mode, action and upgrade cards that increase his defense are included with his ability. With Dinobot Sludge, Mighty Stomper, while in alt mode, he can take on all damage counters found on all of the other Dinobots found on his team, even if it will exceed his health. This will cause him to be KO'd, but sometimes sacrifices will have to be made. With Dinobot Snarl, Desert Warrior, while in bot mode, you will place a card on top of your deck before you begin flipping battle cards, assuming you decide to place a card on top of your deck. With Dinobot Sludge, Battering Ram, while in alt mode, his ability will work more than once in each turn whenever he is battling. With Dinobot Swoop, Bombardier, while in bot mode, any cards that possess orange battle icons are returned to your hand. They will help toward his attack since his ability is not used until after the battle has finished. You are even able to pick up an additional green battle icon card if you flip more than one during combat in addition to the normal acquisition of a green battle icon card, but you will still have to swap a card from your hand, normally acquired one. With Dirge, Doombringer, while in alt mode, his attack bonus granted from his ability will not change later in the turn. Just count the number of characters found in your opponent's KO area when the ability resolves. When it is in bot mode, you play Steamroll with them, and Dirge does enough attack damage to KO the defender. Steamroll's ability will work, but Dirge's ability will not trigger. But if Dirge does exactly enough damage to KO the defender, Steamroll will not do anything. With Dive Bomb, Aerial Assault, while in bot mode, if the revealed card is not an attack, it will go back into your opponent's hand hidden once you're done looking and reading it. With Grapple, Autobot Architect, while in alt mode, it does not matter how many cards you discard. They just need to be exactly 4 different colors among the battle icons found on these cards. With Grimlock, Dinobot Leader, while in alt mode, he is able to give himself both 3 with his ability. When he is in bot mode, any damage he delivers to an enemy character that exceeds the character's health, resulting in KO, instead of discarding the excess damage, your opponent will choose one of their other characters to give that excess damage to. But this excess damage does not progress to a third character if extra damage exceeds after KOing the second character. Though it would be cool, it would also make him overpowered. With Grimlock, Powerful Commander, while in bot mode, his ability allows you to add a character not currently found in this game and add it to your KO area. You can also add a character with the same name, including the same full name. And as the ability is written, you can grab a Dinobot from any wave. With Inferno, Perilous Firefighter, while in alt mode, his ability allows you to choose any character, either one of yours or your opponent's, and have all of that character's upgrades be returned to their owner's hand. You can even choose a character that is without upgrades if you don't wish to return any upgrades to their owner's hand. With Insecticon Scrapnel, Insecticon Leader, while in bot mode and is the target of an attack that delivers more than 3 damage, the extra damage does not happen, causing only 3 damage. This includes any damage that is dealt from a character's ability from any damage dealt to him while he is defending counts toward this 3 damage limit. With Jetfire, Air Guardian, while in bot mode, you can put another upgrade onto him if he already has one of that given type, but you will have to scrap the original upgrade in order to do so. With Lockdown, Bounty Hunter, while in bot mode, the cards found under it are not considered to be on the battlefield. Their abilities do not apply, are not equipped to it, and are not part of the scrap pile. They are just used to keep track of the bonuses associated with its other abilities. And neither player is allowed to look at these cards as they are placed face down underneath Lockdown. And if Lockdown is KO'd, any card found under it are placed onto the scrap pile. With Lord Megatron, Conqueror of Cybertron, while in bot mode, its ability will not trigger if there are no cards found in your opponent's scrap pile, preventing them from reshuffling. With Major Shockwave, Applied Sciences, Scientist, while in alt mode, you cannot do more than just look at the top card of your deck. You will not be able to move it anywhere unless something else says you can. When he is in bot mode, his ability allows you to pretend that the top card of your deck is a part of your hand when playing it. His ability does not give you an extra action or upgrade for that turn. His ability also only extends to when you are playing a card, so your opponent playing a card that tells you to scrap a card, you will have to do so from your hand. And with the top card of your deck, as long as it meets Major Shockwave's ability condition, you are allowed to keep playing the card from the top of your deck. Just remember the normal 1 action upgrade per turn rule. With Major Ultra Magnus, Infantry, City Commander, while in alt mode, use his ability before the game begins. After placing Ultra Magnus armor onto Ultra Magnus, shuffle the rest of the deck and draw 3 cards at the start of the game like normal. You will still draw a card at the start of your first turn. With Megatron, Decepticon Leader, while in bot mode, his Pierce 3 ability guarantees that he does a minimum damage of 3 regardless of how many blue battle icons your opponent will flip. With Negatron, Fallen Hero, while in alt mode, his ability still triggers when an orange battle icon is flipped and he is KO'd during the battle. With Megatron, Living Weapon, while in bot mode, is allowed to be equipped with up to 3 weapon upgrades. With these additional weapon upgrades, they will take up an armor and or utility slot. You can choose to put these additional weapon upgrades onto whatever slot you wish, but it cannot be moved into another slot. So if you want to play an armor or utility upgrade and their effective slot is occupied with a weapon upgrade, you'll need to scrap that given weapon upgrade. And when he flips to alt mode, he retains all weapon upgrades applied to him while in bot mode. And if you already have weapon upgrades equipped onto Megatron, you can add an additional weapon upgrade to him while he is in alt mode as long as he has a weapon slot open for an upgrade. But if he already has a weapon in his weapon slot and you want to play a weapon upgrade, you'll have to scrap the original weapon before play the new weapon. And if you're playing with swap parts in your game, Megatron has 2 weapon upgrades and a non-weapon upgrade, and the other character is unable to hold multiple weapons at once, then you will bring over the weapon and the non-weapon upgrade of your choice onto the other character with the other weapon remaining on Megatron. With Minosaur, Menacing Colossus, while in Combiner mode, if you plan an action that allows you to play another action, it will not interfere with Minosaur's ability to play another action. So you get your base action, an additional action is that the base action might allow the Minosaur's action. With Mind Wipe, Hypnotist, while in alt mode, will cause hybrid battle icons to be scrapped based upon the color you choose. This is because hybrid battle icons count as their color. With Motormaster, Sudden Leader, while in alt mode, his ability will not prevent damage counters from being moved from one character to another. This is due to the fact that the damage has already been dealt. Now it is just being moved. It also does not have an effect upon your own cards, allowing you to damage your other characters. While it is in bot mode, you can choose any stun icon to defend, ignoring keywords like Brave and Stealth, as well as ignoring which characters are tapped and which are untapped. And with his alt mode ability, Motormaster will take damage that would normally be done to him, but does not take damage meant for other characters. With MTX S2A Guided Missile Launcher, you'll have to say or indicate which slot it is going into. And once placed into a slot, it cannot be moved to another slot in order to free up space. And regardless of what slot it goes into, it will remain as a weapon. With Nemesis Prime, Dark Clone, while in bot mode, neither you nor your opponent is allowed to know what card is placed underneath Nemesis Prime when the deck is reshuffled and placed from the bottom of the deck. And if you reshuffle your deck while attacking and place the bottom card beneath them, you'll gain that +3 attack instantly. While the face down card found underneath him when he transformed to his alt mode, he no longer is able to place cards underneath him while reshuffling, and he does not gain any attack bonuses from them. With any card found underneath Nemesis Prime, when he is KO'd, will be placed in the scrap pile along with any upgrades he possesses. With Off-Road, All-Terrain Soldier, while in alt mode, if that one damage is enough to KO an attacking car, no battle cards are flipped. The attacking character is KO'd and the attack is over. With Optimus Maximus, Ultimate Defender, while in Combiner mode, his ability triggers before the flipping of any battle cards, so you get to plan and set up your flip. This happens just after Optimus Maximus is chosen as the attacker or the defender. With Optimus Prime, Battlefield Legend, while in bot mode, you will flip extra battle cards before using Optimus Prime's ability, for it works after you have flipped all of your cards. And if you play one of the actions you flip and it has an orange battle icon on it, you still get to use the battle icon due to it still being flipped during the battle. But if the action found would give them bold, you do not get to flip more battle icons. So if you flip something like Supercharge, you'll get 3 bold, but you won't be allowed to flip additional cards. This is due to you already flipping battle cards for the attack. If you flip new designs, you can put an upgrade onto one of your characters. But if you flipped Brainstorm, you get to play another action. With Optimus Prime, Gleaming Commander, while in alt mode, you get up to 3 Sentinels that are not currently in the game and add them to your KO area. And though the 3 Sentinels that are being brought into the game must all be different, you can bring in the same characters that you started your team with. With Predacon Rampage, Savage Hunter, while in bot mode, if he and an enemy character get KO'd at the same time, his ability will trigger and repair 1 damage to all other Predacons on your team, but Rampage cannot repair himself due to him being in the KO area. With Private Fix-It, Rescue Patrol, Medic, while in bot mode, if either player has less than 4 cards in their hand when the tap ability is used, that player will still draw up to 4 cards. With Private Hot Rod, Infantry, Soldier, while in alt mode, the card found under it, they are not considered to be on the battlefield, abilities do not apply, are not equipped to it, and are not part of the scrap pile. They are used by its bot mode ability. With Private Red Hot, Infantry, Emergency Rescue, while in bot mode, if the swapping characters do not have the same upgrades, the upgrades will still swap. This exchange does not have to be an even swap. But if one or both upgrades, the same swap, like has the put on only restriction, then that given upgrade will stay where it is. With Private Seawater, Rescue Patrol, Search and Rescue, while in alt mode, its last listed ability in the text field can only be triggered once, so if 2 more wide icons are flipped, nothing will happen. With Private Sideswipe, Infantry, Soldier, while in Alt mode, Battle Masters found in the KO area will not count toward his bonus due to them being in their upgrade mode. With Private Trailbreaker, Infantry, Fortification, and Defense, while in Alt mode, you will use his ability before the game begins. After placing Force Field onto Private Trailblazer, shuffle the rest of the deck and draw 3 cards at the start of the game like normal. You will still draw a card at the start of your first turn. With Private Turbo Board, Air Command, Evac, playing of a secret action counts as one of the 2 cards your opponent can play. Just remember that the revealing of said secret action does not count as playing it. With Prowl, Military Strategist, when he flips to Alt mode and gives the other characters who are in car mode both 2, this bonus applies until the end of the turn, even if one of the car characters flips to bot mode. Even if it is in bot mode, his ability says to repair 3 damage to another of your characters when one of your cars gets KO'd. This consists of any character other than Prowl, since he doesn't repair himself. With Raider, Catapult, Air Force, Weapons, its ability will trigger on any occasion when your opponent draws a card. For example, one occasion is when they draw a card at the start of their turn, while another is when they play in action. For the application of the resulting damage, they can incur for whatever character they wish. With Raider Ion Storm, Infantry, Rainmaker, while in bot mode, the upgrade is returned to your opponent's hand before they flip their battle cards. With Raider Roadhugger, Infantry, Tactics, while in bot mode, he can use his tap ability on himself to give himself an attack bonus, though doing so will cause him to become tapped. With Raider Runabout, Infantry, Soldier, while in Alt mode, and you have Run Amok on the battlefield but he is undamaged, you can still flip him from bot mode to Alt mode due to the effects working separately. Since their effects work separately, you can repair damage Run Amok even if he is already in Alt mode. With Raider Skythread, Special Op, Soldier, if the last 2 characters you have are a tank and a plane components of this combiner and they both get KO'd, their revenge abilities do not work and you lose the game. With the cards found under it, they are not considered to be on the battlefield, their abilities do not apply, or are not equipped to it, and are not a part of the scrap pile. They can only be returned to your hand through the use of Skythread's last ability. With Raider Stormcloud, Infantry, Electronic Warfare, while in bot mode, he can use his tap ability on himself to give himself extra bold, though doing so will cause him to become tapped. With Ramsack, Insecticon Commando, when he flips to Alt mode and there are no damage characters, nothing happens since there are no damage counters removed from him. And if there are only damage counters found on the battlefield or on enemy characters, you can choose one of your characters, go undamaged, and do nothing. When it is in bot mode, if an action or upgrade is played that will raise base attack value as determined by the damage counters found on him, followed by raising the attack value as described on the battle card. With Razor Claw, Predacon Leader, when he flips to bot mode, he can still attack tapped characters. He can also attack untapped characters that have Brave or Stealth. These keywords still function, but you just treat untapped characters as if they were tapped, determining who Razor Claw can attack. With Sergeant Barrage, Infantry, Enforcer, when in bot mode, the cards found under it are not considered to be on the battlefield, their abilities do not apply, are not equipped to it, and are not part of the scrap pile. They are used by his Alt mode ability. With Sergeant Cog, Artillery, Mechanic, he is a weaponizer with all rules that apply to Battlemasters also applying to Weaponizer. With Sergeant Cog, he represents advanced weaponry, is the same size as most characters, and can be played as an upgrade on other characters regardless if said characters are large or small. With Sergeant Hound, Infantry, Recon, while in bot mode, his ability will trigger whenever you place an upgrade onto him, even if doing so replaces an existing upgrade. With Sergeant Mirage, Special Ops, Spy, while in Alt mode, you will draw an extra card regardless if it's a blue battle icon or not. When it is in bot mode, his ability will not trigger if the opponent's special action ends up in the KO area, scrap pile, or under the character. His ability only looks at the play area, otherwise it doesn't count. With Sergeant Six Gun, Artillery, Soldier, while in bot mode, his ability will only trigger if the discarded weapon has a plus number in the orange stat box, not in the text field. With Sergeant Scrapnel, Infantry, Electronic Warrior, while in bot mode, his ability will trigger whenever upgrades are scrapped from one of your characters, even if one of your other characters gets KO'd. But his ability will not save himself when he is KO'd. This is because he is KO'd at the same time his upgrade gets scrapped, so he cannot save himself. With Sergeant Skywarp, Black Ops, Seeker, while in Alt mode, you are allowed to return this a single secret action to your hand from scrap pile instead of 2. With Sergeant Springer, Special Ops, Aerial Defender, when flipping to bot mode, if you have 7 cards in your hand at the beginning of your turn and you play a card from it, his ability will still trigger. Trigger condition check first condition at the beginning of the turn, not in the middle of it. With Specialist Ratchet, Engineering, Rescue and Repair, while in Alt mode, use his ability before the game begins. After placing Medic into your hand, shuffle the rest of the deck and draw 3 cards at the start of the game like normal. You will still draw a card at the start of your first turn. When it is in bot mode, his ability will not trigger when damage counters are moved from one of your characters to another. With Silverbot's Aerial Bot Leader, while in Alt mode and you attack, if you flip the required battle icons and trigger his ability, it will automatically flip to bot mode, giving you an attack value of 3. It is worth noting that if he KOs the defender when flipping to bot mode due to his bot mode ability, Silverbot will not do any attack damage. With Skywarp, Teleporting Seeker, while in bot mode, since his ability is a once per turn ability, it will only trigger with the first battle card has no battle icons. But his ability will trigger if you flip a battle card with no battle icons on it when you are attacking with another character. With Slipstream, Strategic Seeker, while in Alt mode, if one damage counter is moved onto the defender due to his ability and the defender is KO'd because of it, the attack will immediately end and neither player will flip any battle cards. When it is in bot mode, 3 different battle icons mean that you will have to flip at least one of 3 different icons for the ability to trigger. With Starscream, Decepticon King, while in bot mode, will have his ability trigger each time Decepticon Crown is flipped, causing the bonus to stack. With Sunstorm, Furion, Flyer, when flipping Alt mode and you have 3 or more cards in your hand, nothing will happen. You will not draw any cards, and nothing will happen to the cards found in your hand. When it is in bot mode, if an attack or upgrade is played that will raise his attack, take his base attack value as determined by the number of cards found in your hand, followed by raising the attack value as described by the actions or upgrades played. With Thrust, Supersonic Interceptor, while in Alt mode, you're not able to use his tap ability if he is already tapped in order to assist with another character's attack. With Thundercracker, Mech Warrior, while in Alt mode, if your opponent does not have any melee characters, then nothing will happen. With Topside, Air and Space Assault, while in Alt mode, if he doesn't have any bold, then his ability will not do anything. But if he has bold and tough at the same time, then both values are added together and treated as if it was a tough value. With Toros, Fueler, while in Alt mode, damage counters can still be moved from an enemy character as long as the effect does not say that damage is repaired. With Trash, Autobot Warrior, while in Alt mode, his ability will not strengthen if it shares multiple traits with the selected character. It maxes out at a +2. With Volcanicus, Fury Champion, while in Combiner mode, any damage done due to his ability that will cause the defender to KO, then the attack will end, although any other abilities that trigger due to Volcanicus hacking will still happen. It will also do no attack damage and you will not untap. With Warpath, Confident Sharpshooter, while in Alt mode and there are multiple battle cards in your opponent's scrap pile has 2 blue battle icons, your opponent gets to choose where the damage goes for each card. With Wheeljack, Weapons Inventory, while in Alt mode, his ability will trigger regardless how the upgrade got put onto your card character. With Wingspan, Data Processor, while in bot mode, when cards are put underneath him, they are done so as a means of strengthening him while in Alt mode. With these cards, they are not considered to be on the battlefield, their abilities do not apply, they are not equipped to him, and they are not part of the scrap pile. With the characters taken care of, we can now go over the battle card clarifications. With 4-wheel drive, the truck character flips so that it is no longer a truck, and its ability will no longer be applied with his base attack reverting to whatever is printed on the card. With any of the bonuses given to the character, they treat 4-wheel drive's effect as the character's base attack value. With Aerial Bot Formation, the tapped upgraded character will not get the +1 bonus. Only the other tapped Aerial Bots will. With Aerial Recon, if you do not scrap the card you look at, then just put it back atop of your deck. With Agility of Bumblebee, Fusion Cannon of Megatron, Null Ray of Starscream, and Static Laser of Ironhide, you can put them onto characters other than their respective characters, but they will only get their respective attack bonus found in the lower left-hand corner of the card, not the abilities or bonuses printed within the text field. The exception to this is Static Laser of Ironhide, where it will damage the character when attacked, except when it comes to Ironhide, who will be unaffected by this negative ability. With Ancient Wisdom, if you scrap 2 actions or 2 upgrades, you will return 1 card to your hand while the other will remain scrapped. With any card that is not returned to your hand, it will remain in the scrap pile. Also follow the instructions of Ancient Wisdom in the order written, so if you return something like Unleash Potential to your hand, you can play it. With Attack Drone, if you have multiple copies of this card in the weapon slot and you upgrade the character with another weapon, then all equipped attack drones will be scrapped. With Backfire, if it KOs the attacker, the attack will end and no one will flip battle cards. With Backup Bag, it can be used to save any weapon or upgrade that causes itself to be scrapped. With Backup Plan, it can be played if it is the last card in your hand. So even though you won't be able to scrap any cards from your hand, you can still draw 3 cards. With Battering Ram, if used against a defender that has more than one other mode, your opponent will decide which mode the defender will transform into. With Battle Ready, the bonuses it provides occur when it is played, not at a later point in the turn if an upgrade is played or an upgrade is scrapped. With Battlefield Scan, it basically means that ignore the keywords of Brave and Stealth when deciding which character to attack. With Belligerence, if a blue hybrid battle icon is flipped, it will become an orange hybrid battle icon. With Blade Flurry, you will still gain the +4 attack bonus even if the character will gain or lose a weapon later in the turn. With Brainstorm, the 2 additional actions you get to play can be played in any order you desire, and that does not have to be chosen ahead of time. So after playing Brainstorm, play your first action, resolve it followed by playing your second action and resolving it. With Bug Bomb, you will draw a card before performing the other effects. With Bumpers, it prevents a card from moving damage counters to the upgraded character. Any effects that call for such an action to occur is to be ignored, for they are not repaired. You have the card that has additional instructions after trying to move the damage counters, still try and follow those if it is possible. With Cargo Trailer, it will only allow the character to hold on to 3 cargo trailers for different utility. Said character cannot utilize both. With Collateral Damage, the player whose turn it is will go first, so the player who plays collateral damage will scrap a weapon from a character first, followed by the opposing player. From there, you will scrap a card from your hand, followed by the opposing player. With Combat Commands, if your Sentinel is already in alt mode, you cannot flip it to bot mode. With Composite Armor, the damage it will do due to the flipping of a blank battle icon will occur after the upgrade has been scrapped. And even if a blank battle icon is not flipped, Composite Armor will still be scrapped. With Confidence, you do not have to play one of your cards that you drew. You can play any action in your hand after you have scrapped 2 cards from it. And you have no other cards in your hand when you play Confidence, then you will just draw 2 cards and then immediately scrap them. With Contact Contingency, you can play it for a character that does not have a bounty ability, but the last ability will not do anything. The affected character will only get a +2 attack. With Conversion Expertise, it works off of whatever mode the body character card is in, and if the combined character is in any mode other than alt or bot, no bonuses will be given. With Cooling Vents, you can play it on an undamaged or a non-ranged character, but you will ignore the repair ability. With Cornered, when you play it on one of your opponent's characters, their flip ability will trigger. With Coup, if one of the KO'd characters was one of your characters that had a bounty ability, you cannot use that ability when Coup is revealed since that character is no longer on the battlefield. With Crowbar, his ability will only trigger if the attacking character is holding it during its attack, but if it appears after that point, it can stay for at least another attack. With Crude Club, even if the character has no other upgrades, the upgraded character will still get a +1 attack for this upgrade. With Crushing Size, Dual Arms, and Scrapper Gauntlets, if your opponent has a character with a utility, armor, or weapon on it, you'll have to scrap it. The ability to draw a card will only be triggered if you are unable to scrap an enemy utility, armor, or weapon. With Crushing Treads, if the upgraded character's defense is boosted by an action or upgrade, it will raise its Pierce number, and the blue battle icons will not add to the character's defense even if it is attacking, like how orange battle icons will not raise the character's attack when it is defending. With Crystal of Power, you can play it if the character already has a weapon, but if the weapon is in the weapon slot, you'll have to replace it with the Crystal of Power since it takes up both the weapon slot and the armor slot. With Dampening Field, it will prevent the opposing player from flipping more than 4 cards during the battle, even if those extra flips were coming from things like Bold, a white battle icon, or any other ability. With Daring Escape, the cards are revealed face up when they are put into the KO area. Either player can look at them, just ask permission before grabbing your opponent's cards. With Decipher, it only counts secret actions found in your opponent's play area. It doesn't extend to your opponent's hands, scrap pile, or their KO area. With Defensive Configuration and Shoulder Holster, if either one is scrapped, then choose one upgrade associated with the respective battle card you wish to keep and which one will be scrapped. With Defensive Driving, when 2 effects are trying to modify the damage a character takes, the affected player will choose which effect will apply. From there, see if any of the other effects will still be applied. If so, keep applying those effects until there are none left to be applied. However, each effect will only apply to the same damage once. With Dismantling Claw, Personal Targeting Drone, and Reactive Armor, if any of these upgrades will get replaced due to the character that possesses them getting KO'd, then their ability will trigger. Their ability will also trigger when one of these upgrades gets replaced with another upgrade due to it getting scrapped in the replacement process. With Dual Wield, you will choose which weapon your character will keep and which one will be scrapped. With Electrified Spikes and Energized Field, their abilities max out at delivering 1 damage regardless of how many orange battle icons you flip. And if that 1 damage is enough to KO the attack, then no damage from the larger attack is done to the defender. With Energy Defense Field, although you will typically only get 1 use out of this battle card, it is possible for the first ability to cause the second ability to trigger. With the enemy combat analysis, a character is in possession of stars regardless of what mode it is in, even if said mode does not have any stars printed on it. With the Energon Mace, if it is attacking an Autobot leader, the upgraded character will get both +1 attack and Pierce 3. With Energy Pack and Laser Cutlass, it does not matter what mode the character is in as long as it meets the star count requirement. With Energy Pack, Enhanced Power Cell, Increased Durability, and Minor Meta Kit, if the upgraded character takes more damage than its base health but less than its upgraded health provided by any of these upgrades, then the applicable upgrade gets scrapped, the character will get KO'd. With Energy Transfer, you can choose not to move any damage counters between characters. You can even play it when you only have one character on the battlefield or none of your characters are damaged. But when moving damage counters, they do not count as damaging or repairing either character. With the Equipment Enthusiast, only count the upgrades found on the battlefield, but don't include any upgrades found in the scrap pile or in your hand. With the Erratic Lightning, you cannot put it onto an enemy character in an attempt to lower its defenses. You can only put your upgrade onto your own characters. And if you place this upgrade onto a character who has 0 defense, that character's defense will remain at 0. But if the character's defense gets raised for one reason or another, then the -1 effect will be applied. With Escape Capsule, you can upgrade a character without a head with this upgrade. It will get a +1 attack bonus, although its trigger ability will not do anything. With Even the Score, it doesn't directly modify how much attack damage is dealt. Instead, it waits for the effects of other cards and abilities to be applied. From there, it sees if the character will take more than enough attack damage to be KO'd. With the damage that is done by cards such as Even the Score, it does not count as attack damage. Only damage from the attacker counts as attack damage. With Field Communicator, if you put it onto a specialist, when you only have one card left in your deck, you'll scrap the upgrade, shuffle all of the other cards found in your scrap pile into your deck, and play the card you scrapped. But if you don't, it will stay in your scrap pile. With Force Field, it will work even against Pierce damage. So if an attack with Pierce of 5 or higher, only 4 damage will go through. And if the upgraded character also has Heroism, Heroism will trigger and the Force Field will protect the character if the damage dealt is 5 or more. But if the character will take 4 or fewer points of damage, Force Field will not be scrapped. It will also not remember any previous attacks, even if said attack occurs during the same turn. With Focus Fire, you count every one that is played, beginning with the first one, so it is possible for you to get up to Bold 3. You can even have separate characters receive Bold if you flip more than one Focus Fire. With Fog of War, players will scrap their cards at the same time. Each player should choose the cards they're going to scrap, set them aside, and when both players are ready, reveal these cards and then put them into respective scrap piles. With Fuel Cache, if one of the flipped cards is in possession of all 3 listed battle icons, then all the flipped cards will be placed into your hand. And if you have less than 3 cards remaining in your deck, go ahead and reveal the remaining cards, reshuffle the scrap pile, and then reveal the remaining number of cards to the top of the deck until you have 3 total cards flipped. From there, you'll either put them into your hand or scrap them depending upon the battle icons presented. With Field Loadout, you can play the upgrade in any order you wish. With Ghost Shield, if an effect places an armor directly onto the battlefield without aiming it, you can put Ghost Shield onto the character that doesn't have any armor. As long as you're not playing Ghost Shield, its first ability does not apply. But if you have a non-armor upgrade in your armor slot, you cannot play Ghost Shield to replace it. It must be replaced in armor in said slot. With Grenade Launcher, like any ability that starts with after the upgraded character attacks will get scrapped after the upgraded character has attacked, attack damage has been done, and the battle has ended. And then if an action places Grenade Launcher onto Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend, it will get scrapped after he finishes his attack. However, if the character with Grenade Launcher attacked with it, but is somehow no longer found on the character, then the Grenade Launcher will not get scrapped. With Guarded Posture, although it will decrease the character's attack value, said attack value can never go below 0. So if the character has a base attack value of 0, anything that will increase the value during the attack will experience the -1 to that value. With Head-On Collision, the +3 attack bonus only applies when the character is in alt mode. If it flips to a different mode mid-attack, this bonus will be lost unless it is able to return to an alt mode while still attacking. With Heroic Team Up, if the Autobot you tap has an upgrade that will increase its attack, count those bonuses as well. The character's attack total will equal the printed attack value plus any bonuses it's getting from any other card. With Heroism, if more than one character possesses it and a different character is to take attack damage, then you'll get to decide which character will, with this keyword, will take the damage. This damage will still count as attack damage, and cards that care about attack damage will still apply. With Hiding Spot, your opponent cannot change who will be attacking. When Hiding Spot is revealed, it's after your opponent has locked into their choice for attacker. With Hijack, you do not get to draw from your opponent's deck. You will always draw from your own deck. With the card that your opponent was going to draw, it stays on top of their deck. And if your opponent draws more cards, they'll draw that number of cards instead. This is due to Hijack's effects lasting for the rest of the turn. With Hunker Down, if the character that is a tank and is already in alt mode, or if the character is not a tank in alt mode and still in bot mode, it will not flip. From there, every tank character, regardless if it is flipped or not, can get an armor upgrade from your scrap pile. And if you have more armor upgrades than you have tank characters, you will choose which armor upgrades go onto which characters. This also extends to the situation when you have more tank characters than you have armor upgrades. With ISO function, the damage counters a character has in the KO area is equal to its health. If the character returns with ISO function, these damage counters will be equal to its health minus 1. And when a character returns to the battlefield, it will stay in the mode it was in while in the KO area. And if you haven't flipped one of your other characters, you can flip the returning character. With an indestructible sword, if this is equipped to a character and this character gets KO'd, it goes back into your hand. With Infernal Breath, you cannot play this card if you have no untapped characters with 5 stars or less. With Infiltrate, it will not be revealed due to the playing of a secret action, even if it possesses an orange battle icon. This remains true when the secret action is later revealed. Since it was already played face down, Infiltrate will not be noted. With Intelligence Mission, you cannot play this card if you have no untapped characters with 5 stars or more. With Intrusion Countermeasure software, if your opponent's card includes any other instructions, follow them. But if the effect refers to the card that you have scrapped, that part of the effect will not do anything. With Involuntary Promotion, if it is used on a character from the KO area and it ends up with enough damage counters to KO it again, both characters will end up in the KO area, but the character that started in the KO area will be on the battlefield for a short period of time, allowing any abilities and upgrades to trigger if the situation allows for it. With Jam Signals, if your opponent has an ability that triggers when they play an action followed by playing a blue battle icon, the blue battle icon action will be cancelled out and have no effect, but the other action will still have its effects. With Kinetic Transfer Whip, it can be triggered multiple times in the same turn, granting 2 gold each time. With Leap of Faith, if you only have 1 card left in your deck, you'll scrap that card, shuffle all the other cards found in your scrap pile into your deck, and then play the card you scrapped. But if you don't, it'll stay in your scrap pile. From there, scrap the next top card of your deck and you'll play that card. With Lose the Initiative, it can still be played to prevent an opponent from untapping a character. It just means that you cannot untap a character either. With Lucky Dodge, if there are multiple effects that are trying to modify the same damage amount one of your defenders will take, you can choose to apply the effects in any order you wish. If applying such an effect will lead to an even amount of damage, Lucky Dodge is not revealed, otherwise it is. With Lucky Vest, it doesn't directly modify how much attack damage is dealt. Instead, it waits for the effects of other cards and abilities to be applied. From there, it sees if the character will take more than 4 attack damage. If it does, then the character will only take 4 attack damage. With Master Sword, if an effect places a weapon directly onto the battlefield without playing it, you can put Master Sword onto a character that doesn't have an armor. As long as you're not playing Master Sword, its first ability does not apply. But if you have a non-weapon upgrade in your weapon slot, you cannot play Master Sword to replace it. It must replace a weapon in said slot. With Mounted Missiles, you can put it onto a weapon slot, armor slot, or utility slot. But you will have to choose which slot it will be going into, and it cannot be moved to another slot. So if you want to play an upgrade for that given slot later in the game, you will have to scrap Mounted Missiles. With Multi-Missile Pod, if you have 3 of them equipped and decide to fire all of them, they will still deploy one at a time with an escalating damage value based upon the previous number of scrapped multi-missile pods. With One Shell Stand, One Shell Fall, and Photon Bomb, if it KOs the last character of both you and your opponent at the same time, the game is deemed a draw. With Opportune Offensive and Opportune Repairs, it doesn't matter if the mercenary on your team gets KO'd before either card is played. As long as you have them on your starting team, you can play either card. With Overheat, other in-game effects still work if it is revealed. So even though orange and black battle icons won't assist in the battle, they are still flipped, and effects that are affected by them being flipped will still work. With Overwhelming Advantage, you can choose to plan as many battle cards as you wish, so you can plan 0 cards up to a number equal to the total number of Decepticons found on the battlefield. When you play Overwhelming Advantage, you decide which character will be affected, even if you have multiple characters that meet the criteria. And if you meet the criterions, the second ability, and it causes the defender to be KO'd, the attack will end. With Peace Through Tyranny, if you end your turn with no untapped characters and your opponent has at least 1 untapped character, that extra turn essentially disappears and you cannot attack again unless you have a way to untap one of your characters. And if you manage to play 2 of these during the same turn, you'll get 2 extra turns after the current turn. With Pincer Maneuver, if the first attack KOs the defender, you cannot attack again, because if you cannot attack the same enemy with a different Decepticon, you do not have an extra attack. With Point Defense System, if the character's Pierce total is equal to 0 or less, then treat said character as if it didn't have Pierce when determining how much damage is done. This is due to negative Pierce not doing anything weird. With Press the Advantage, if you are playing with this in your game, it does not cause your opponent's Decepticon to draw below 0. But if the character's defense gets raised for one reason or another, then the negative 2 effect will be applied. And if you do not have any Autobots on your team, or your opponent doesn't have any Decepticons on their team, you can still play it just for one of the effects. With Protected by Metroplex, if Metroplex has been KO'd and the character still has this upgrade, the upgrade will have no effect and said character will take the damage as normal. And though Protected by Metroplex can be played on Metroplex, it won't really do anything since it will take the damage no matter what. With Rapid Ascent, you can put it onto a non-ranged character, but they will only get the +1 defense bonus, not the branded ability or bonuses. With Rapid Conversion, it cannot flip characters found in the KO area unless otherwise stated. And with the granting of Thrust ability bonus, it is not affected by Rapid Conversion, for it is granted at the same time his ability was triggered and not modified afterwards. With the Reboot system, when flipping battle cards, you will flip the instructed number of cards before discarding any of the flip battle cards. This includes any extra cards from Recon system, a white battle icon, and all other triggered abilities such as Bold and Tough. Recon system also does not sync with Optimus Prime Battlefield Legends bot mode ability. This is due to the action cards affected by his ability will have already been scrapped, not among the cards you flipped. With Regenerative Core, the damage counters found on it are just used to track how many times its ability has been used. These counters are not on the upgrade character, cannot be removed by any other effects, and any repair ability does not touch them. With Reprocess, it can be used on any character, either yours or your opponent's. It can even be done if no damage is repaired. With Repurpose, if it is the last card in your hand when you play it, you skip the scrap portion of the instructions and just draw 2 cards. With Rollout, when a character is already in alt mode, nothing will happen. They won't flip and just remain in alt mode. With Salvage for Parts, it will repair damage from your opponent's character if they have upgrades scrapped from them. With Scrounge, if you play it with only 1 card left in your deck and it is an upgrade, you are allowed to play it. You will shuffle the cards from your scrap pile and then you play your upgrade. With Step Forward, once it is removed, your opponent is not allowed to change what character they'll be attacking with. This is due to the fact that once chosen, the decision is locked in. With Spare Parts, it can only save 1 upgrade from being scrapped if your opponent is scrapping multiple upgrades from your character. So choose which upgrade you want to keep and then scrap the other upgrade and spare parts. With Speed Trap, secret actions count. For the game, these secret actions that are played face down as an action. With Spy Master's Ruse, if the secret action is not revealed by the end of the turn, both it and the Spy Master's Ruse will stay in the play area until your opponent triggers the conditions for the secret action. With Starter Engines, if the character that is a car and is already in alt mode, or if the character is not a car in alt mode and is still in bot mode, it will not flip. And the card that you just untapped does not have to be the one that you just flipped. You can flip any of your car characters, even ones that are already in alt mode and didn't flip. With Steamroll, any damage delivered to any character that exceeds the character's health, resulting in a KO, instead of discarding the excess damage, your opponent will choose one of their other characters to give that excess damage to. But that extra damage does not proceed to a third character if extra damage exists after KOing that second character. And any damage counters placed onto another character by your opponent will count as intact damage done by the chosen character. With Sturdy Javelin, once it is equipped onto a ranged character, you can throw it in any direction in order to hit any enemy. With Drop Missions, if all of your characters are tapped when this card is played, you will untap one of your characters followed by merely tapping said character. But if all of your characters are untapped, it would be inadvisable for you to play this card since you cannot untap any of them, and you'll have to tap one of them anyway for the character to attack. With Swap Parts, if one of the 2 characters doesn't have any upgrades, then just move all of the upgrades from one character to the other. It doesn't have to be a full swap. If an upgrade cannot be put onto another character, it will stay where it is. And if the other character has an upgrade of the same type, said upgrade will stay where it is. When being swapped, if the upgrade says when you put this on a different character or something similar to that, its ability will be triggered. With Swarm, your opponent can choose different characters to receive 1 damage. You can also choose a different character to receive 1 repair. Regarding the flipping of battle cards, they are not immediately placed into the scrap pile. Set them aside for now and then scrap all of them at the end of the turn. With Swindled, you do not have to play an upgrade from the 2 cards that you drew. You can choose an upgrade from your hand, and if you have no other cards in your hand when you play Confidence, you will draw 2 cards and immediately scrap them. Since your hand will be empty, you cannot play an upgrade. With System Reboot, if a player does not have any cards in the hand, they will not scrap any cards and just draw 4 new cards. With Tackle, you cannot play this card if you have no untapped melee characters. With Team Up Tactic, if your character is both a truck and a car, it will repair 2 damage from it as well as draw 2 cards from the deck. With Tech Research, it does not do anything by itself, but it will need to be played if you wish to play some of the upgrades found in the game. With Tooth and Claw, you get to choose which slot the weapon upgrade will be placed into, but once it has been placed into that given slot, it cannot be moved into another slot. So if you want to play another upgrade for that given slot, you'll need to scrap that given weapon upgrade. And if a weapon upgrade is placed into an armor slot followed by Tooth and Claw being removed, the weapon upgrade will stay where it is. Once an upgrade has been legally played into a slot, it doesn't matter if the means that made it legal gets removed. With Trithelium Shield, if it is defending against a Decepticon leader, the upgraded character will get both +1 and the attacker has its Pierce total reduced by 3. But if the Decepticon leader has Pierce of 2 or less, or none at all, then any Pierce attack gets ignored. With Unconventional Flying Object, if the spaceship is already in bot mode, you will flip it to the alt mode, even if you can't flip it back. With Unleashed Potential, you will get an additional card that is not currently in the game into your hand. For the rest of the game, you will have that additional battle card. You can even add a card in your deck as a fourth of any kind of card, and if it will bring your star count over 25 star limit. The 3 card and 25 star limit only applies if starting team and deck. With Turbo Booster, you can place it onto an untapped character, but it will only gain the +1 attack bonus. Its untap ability will not do anything. With Valuable Contract, your opponent is allowed to see the card you are going to be putting into your hand and verify exactly 1 star. If you put it onto a character that already has its own bounty ability and enough damage is done to an enemy to KO it, you will be able to collect both bounty abilities and collect it in any order you wish. However, you cannot collect the character's bounty twice or the Valuable Contract bonus twice. With Vandalize, the only thing that matters is the type of upgrade that is chosen, not the slot where it is occupying. With W5 Gyro Blaster, if you or your opponent are supposed to flip additional battle cards, such as from a white battle icon or triggered abilities such as Bold or Tough, they are not flipped. Each player can only flip 2 cards. So with that said, that's what you'll need to know about both the character and upgrade clarifications. With that taken care of, we can now move on to the erratas. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes that we upload, then go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.